Welcome. Welcome to Get to Life Michigan's self-care series. My name is Shalonda Griffin, and I'm a community relations coordinator in the Flint, Saginaw area. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We live in a very busy world, as I'm sure you all know. Very busy, very stressful. We may have things like work, school, parenting. We have so much to do in such a short amount of time. And that's one of the main reasons why we started this self-care series. We just wanted to encourage you to take a breather, to take some time for yourself, and just sit back and relax for a little bit, because as we all know, you can't pour from an empty cup. Now, while watching, we would encourage you to like, share, ask questions, comment. Just let us know that you're there and what you're thinking. Let us know if you like the content that we are sharing with you today. And also, if you're watching the replay, feel free to do the same thing. Just make sure you add a hashtag replay so we know that you weren't part of our live audience. Now, today I have a very special guest. I'm so excited that she's here today. We are joined by Miss Kayla Lawson. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, Shalonda.
Kayla is a registered dietitian who's been working in the world of nutrition since 2014. She earned a bachelor's degree in biological science and a master's in nutrition from North Carolina State University. Now, as a dietitian, Kayla has worked in both school and community nutrition, but she now specializes in performance nutrition at the collegiate level. Now, when she's not doing all of that, making sure that people are eating healthy, she enjoys staying active through running, strength training, and yoga. And I also hear that she's a fan of interior decorating, traveling, and cheering on her favorite sports team. Who's your favorite sports team?
I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So.
Cool. Very cool. I was going to try to pretend like I knew sports, but that's a lost cause. So we'll get on with the show. So okay. Kayla, thank you so much for being here tonight. How is your evening going?
It's going pretty well. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be with you guys tonight and show you a quick little easy dinner to make on a weeknight.
Yeah, awesome. We are super excited to have you here with us. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us. Now, before we get started on this wonderful recipe that I can't wait to see, I have a couple questions for you. So you are a registered dietitian. Explain to our audience what a registered dietitian is. What do you do?
Well, a registered dietitian can work in a lot of different areas, but I would say that like a general explanation is in like the clinical setting, we would meet with individuals. We would take a full assessment of their like nutrition, health, their medical history, and just kind of get all the information that we can gather. Then we would determine or like make a nutrition diagnosis to figure out like if they have a challenge, a medical condition, or whatever their goal is, and kind of figure out what that is, and make sure that we're on the same page with our client or individual. Okay. Then we determine some what intervention we'd like to use to get them to their goals. We'd then monitor those, typically through follow-up appointments, and then reevaluate when we need to.
Very, very cool. Thank you for clearing that up for us. Mm-hmm. Now, I've also heard of nutritionists. How does a dietitian differ from a nutritionist?
Well, essentially, both a dietitian and a nutritionist can provide nutrition education, right? So that's anybody can do research and read on nutrition and provide that education to individuals or group audience. Mm-hmm. The difference is a dietitian is a step further to where we provide what we call medical nutrition therapy. That's more of like an evidence-based approach that is, and we're able to individualize that nutrition for each individual that we work with. We can also, because we do medical nutrition therapy or MNT, we're able to bill through insurance because we can give a nutrition diagnosis, and that we can bill through insurance as a specialist. And then also our credentials come from having a bachelor's in typically a science field, plus about a year-long supervised internship, and then passing a board certified exam. And then we have continuing education hours that we have to keep up in order to maintain our certification. And a lot of states also require state licensure.
Okay, that's very good to know. Now, you gave us a definition of what a registered dietitian is and a lot of the things that they encompass. Is there something in particular that you do more so than others? Is there a particular role that you play a really big part in?
So yeah, I'd say in the kind of the field that I'm in, specifically in performance nutrition, um, my clientele are student athletes or collegiate level athletes, right? So our goals fall into a lot of performance-based goals, body composition goals, overall like nutrition health, and then also wanting to make sure that our student athletes are ready to take that next step into life after college athletics. So it's a lot of education. It's a lot of teaching as far as plate coaching at meals, menu planning at home and away. And then we also follow with performance lab testing, whether that's hydration or body composition or medical labs that directly correlate to performance, essentially.
Okay, great. Now, you just mentioned menu planning. Now, this is the part I'm most excited about because I love to cook. I love to watch the Food Network. So I'm super excited about this. You are going to prepare a dish for us tonight and you're going to walk us through the preparation. So, what are you cooking?
Sure. My meal tonight is going to be grilled salmon with an avocado salsa on top. And then for the sides, I'm doing asparagus and rice. I'm doing a basmati rice, but I'll explain how you can kind of use these basics for a quick and easy meal, but you can also change things up really easily so that you have variety.
Well, I'm ready to get right in. It's dinner time, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, perfect. I will get started by seasoning our salmon, and we'll get that going, and then I'll go ahead and put our vegetables in the oven. So like I said, we're going to grill our salmon, or essentially I like to do salmon on the stove top, kind of like pan-sear, top and bottom. And again, salmon, we talked about a quick and easy meal. I think that fish cooks fairly quickly. So that's one of my favorites to cook as well. Also, the salmon is a lean protein and definitely has those healthy fats, those omega-3s that are going to be beneficial for a healthy diet as well. So I've got my 2 salmon fillets here. What I'm going to do is put olive oil, and then I have a mixture of black pepper, paprika, onion powder, and cumin. I already mixed that together here, but it's about like a tablespoon of each. So I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil, and I'm just going to drizzle that on my salmon. So I've got 2 fillets, maybe about a teaspoon on each. And so this is essentially just so I like to make sure that the seasoning is going to be able to stay on the salmon.
Right.
Over. I will season, just take a pinch here, kind of season. I definitely season the bottom or like the skin side of the salmon too.
So can I ask you a question about the oils real quick? I know you used olive oil. Can you use whatever oil you have available? Maybe
Sure,
canola or
avocado. Avocado oil, canola oil. There's so many different kinds of oil to use. I alternate between depending on just like my general cooking oil, because there's benefits for all different kinds of oil, but essentially all of them outside of coconut oil are unsaturated fats, and so those are what we typically call our healthy fats. So definitely, yes, you can use whichever oil you're used to using.
Okay.
Olive oil is a lower smoke point, so I do like if we're just pan searing this, but if you were going to like fry something or go at a higher temperature, then you might want to utilize a different oil, like maybe like a canola blend or something like that. So I have seasoning on both sides, olive oil on both sides.
Okay. I have a question from our producer. She wants to know, why season the skin if you aren't going to eat it?
Oh, well, you can eat it.
Okay.
I guess that's up to personal preference, but there is you can eat the skin of the salmon, and I do, and you can also I just put a little bit of olive oil into the pan.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, she mentioned she didn't know you could eat the skin, so we just learned something new. Now, can people easily swap out the type of protein? Maybe they aren't a big fish eater, but maybe they like chicken, or maybe maybe they're vegetarian and they would prefer, I don't know, a mushroom. Can they use those same seasonings, just a different protein?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and that brings me to what I was saying before, as far as this is a quick and easy option. Obviously, you can change out the protein. You can, like you said, you can use a chicken. You can do it with shrimp. If you want it to do like something more plant-based, utilizing like tofu, the seasonings are really important for that as well. So yeah, you can switch that up, and you can also switch up the seasoning too. So if you wanted to do salmon a different day, but maybe make it more of an Italian seasoning, or utilize pesto or capers, or you can kind of switch it up that way.
Okay, good to know.
So I did just turn my stovetop on, and so it's not all the way warm, but I'm cooking skin side down first, and we'll see that start to cook for us while I go over and prepare the asparagus.
Okay.
So I have asparagus washed over here. I am going to go ahead and season the asparagus as well. What I'm going to do is cut the ends off of the asparagus here. And then I have kind of like a cookie sheet that I'm going to bake the asparagus in the oven. I've already preheated to 400. I'm going to take the asparagus and kind of lay them down evenly here. And I have some more olive oil, and in this bottle it's kind of got a little pour top. It's easy to kind of lightly drizzle some olive oil across. Again, not wanting to have too much, but just a little bit there. We're going to mix it all together. And the olive oil allows for the seasoning to kind of stick onto what you're cooking. This ramekin, I just mixed black pepper, a little bit of salt. So I'm just going to pinch that over top.
When it comes to salt, does it matter if it's maybe pink salt, kosher salt, or all salts pretty much created equally, or?
They're a little bit different. I mean, for cooking, I typically don't use. I mean, some don't use salt a lot when I cook personally, but I guess that's personal preference. There's definitely like the pink Himalayan salt. I have that as well. If I were going to maybe utilize like a table salt, I might use the pink Himalayan. But for cooking, I typically have What did I use? I just have like a regular table salt that I'm using right now.
Okay.
And then black pepper. And then here I have, I don't want that much. You can hear the salmon starting to cook over here. And then I have garlic powder, just drizzling that on top. And then I'll just kind of move them around to make sure that seasoning is covered.
I have a funny asparagus story for you, Kayla.
Okay, go ahead.
When I was a kid, I hated asparagus, and that is because in my family, it was boiled, and it was boiled to the point that it was just wilty and soft and pretty gross. And then when I finally, as an adult, had it on the grill and it was crisp and crunchy, I said, I've been missing out. This is wonderful. And proceeded to tell everyone in my family, why did you ruin asparagus for me?
Yeah, I was just talking earlier about just like the cook time with asparagus. I also don't like any of my vegetables to be like really wilted or overdone. Mm-hmm. So I'd say like in the oven on 400, you can definitely cook it anywhere between like 10 and 20 minutes. So if you're somebody who likes it a little bit more soft and well done, closer to that 20-minute mark, I think that I might do something around 10 or 12 today because I like it to be just a little bit more crisp. Mm-hmm. That is why I bake it and don't boil it. Another option is also to kind of like stove top, like saute or pan sear. That's also another quick option that I think, as long as you don't cook it too long, it keeps its firmness.
Right.
So again, just personal preference. So back to our salmon is looking pretty good. I am going to move on to our avocado salsa. So this is just a garnish on the top. Again, a way to make your meal a little bit different rather than just having grilled salmon. So let me grab my...
This is what I'm most excited about because I love a good razzle dazzle. So
yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut our avocado around seed. So for avocado, I want it to be, you want to cube a whole avocado. So I'm just gonna slice down the middle, and I don't really need a big knife for that, but one way, and then kind of slice kind of like a grid the opposite way. So right against the outer barrier there, get that seed off. And then you can kind of scoop, you can use like a knife or a spoon to scoop around the outside. Mm-hmm. And you kind of peel out, it should just fall right in.
That's a great technique. I like it.
There we go. And then take the seed out and do the other side. So avocado, again, is another healthy fat. Pretty nutrient dense. One of your mega fatty components to your diet.
Okay. What do those fats, what do they do for the body? Why are they important?
So your omega fatty acids are definitely anti-inflammatory foods. They help your body to absorb other fat-soluble vitamins that you're eating throughout the day. And they're again, what we call a healthy fat. So unsaturated fats, rather than saturated fats, are going to help maintain the proper cholesterol levels.
Okay.
So that's another benefit there. I'm just flipping over our salmon.
That looks great.
Hands off here. So we've got our avocado here in cubes. The next thing I'm going to do for the avocado salsa is add red onion. Just cut down there. I'll take off the outside there.
I live for a good red onion.
I'm sorry?
I live for a good red onion.
Oh, I love red onions as well. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so for the red onion, I'm just going to kind of, again, we want kind of cubes, so I'm going to dice down one way.
Just looking at some of our comments here too. Sue Misra says that's a neat way to cube avocados, which I definitely agree. Ramona Chapman says that she loves asparagus, and I think that's Liga or Liga. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but sweet onions. Looks like they're a fan of sweet onions.
Yes. Oh, sweet onions? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to kind of break up our little pieces of onion here, and then add it to our bowl. I've already cut up a few of our, sorry, mess out the way, limes. So this is kind of the juice to our salsa. I'm just going to squeeze the lime juice in there.
That'll also help the avocado from turning brown. Is that correct?
Yes, so any citrus juice like the lime or lemon is going to help our avocado from turning. Hopefully we will be able to enjoy this before it turns. So there's some juice in there, and then I also have some fresh cilantro, which is my favorite. I'm going to have some cilantro in as well.
Okay.
And then, so the key here is to mix up the avocado, the onion, and the cilantro, but not to, I guess, we want it mixed lightly because we don't want to smash the avocado, right? We want it to keep its form a little bit.
Okay.
Mixing everything together. I actually, I'm going to try to break up some of these little onion pieces, but.
Sue Misra just shared that she just made a big bowl of cilantro chutney today. That sounds delicious, Sue.
All right. Let's flip back over our salmon. That looks pretty good, pretty nice and brown.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the temperature down. Check on our asparagus down there. And another thing that you can do with your asparagus, I know after we take it out, I am going to put some lemon juice, squeeze some lemon juice on top of that. Some people like maybe a little bit of like grated Parmesan or Parmesan cheese on top. So you can kind of mix up depending on the taste that you're looking for.
Okay.
So the third piece is our rice. So I previously made my rice beforehand just to save time, but I wanted to talk about how that is just a, hold on, Our rice is going to be our starch, our grain portion of the meal. And there's many different kinds of rice. So again, personal preference, just making sure it wasn't too loud there. On the rice that you want to choose. Today I made, again, like a white basmati rice. I do have the option here of the, just kind of like a 90-minute like pouch rice. So obviously there's many brands that you can find in your rice aisle at the grocery store, but we talked about quick meals and utilizing kind of the quickest option, maybe after a long day at work, or if you don't want to do like a stovetop rice, or if I use my Instant Pot, or if you have a rice cooker, like there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can make a lot at a time so that you already have your grain starch ready for multiple meals. So that is just a good tip as far as planning ahead. But when in doubt, I think these pouches are great, just like cabinet staple or pantry staple, so that you can throw in the microwave in 90 minutes, you have a good starch. So this, again, is a brown rice option. Today I made white rice.
Okay.
So we have our salmon ready. Our avocado salsa topping is ready. I'm going to go ahead and pull out.
I have a couple questions for you while you're doing that. A couple questions from the audience. Well, the first one, Ramona Chapman has asked, are we going to get this recipe? Looks wonderful for a keto-friendly diet. Yes, Ramona, we will definitely be sharing this recipe on social media. Kayla was so nice to send us the recipe in advance, and we will share it with you all. Sue Misra also said that you could also make a quinoa, which, yes, might be a great option if you're not a big rice fan. But Bindi921 wants to know, what's the benefit of cooking rice in a steamer as opposed to a pot?
Well, I think time is the biggest benefit. There's not really anything that you're doing differently, right? So you have your rice in the water on the stove versus in the pot. I think that, or in an Instant Pot or a steamer. So I think it's just definitely a time saver. And some people find that rice is a really, really hard item to cook, like, and unless you, until you get a hang of it. So you definitely don't want to burn your rice. Sometimes on the stovetop, depending on your cooking skills, it could be a little bit harder. But yeah, I guess that's just personal preference.
I can attest to that. I'm a pretty good cook, but I legit just learned how to make rice last year. I was on the struggle bus with that.
Yeah. Until I got my Instant Pot, I was making it on the stove. So yeah, I mean, there's definite benefits depending on what you want to like add to your rice. Like sometimes I make a brown rice and I put like black-eyed peas in it and maybe some like onions and veggies and other things if I want to kind of make more of a fancy rice, and I'm able to kind of monitor that and cook and stir it on the pot, on the stove. Just gives you a little bit more flexibility. But if you're just kind of making a plain rice as a side, then I think it's really up to what works best for you as far as your timing. So
okay, great. Now, as we mentioned in our intro, that we're really busy, people are on the go and have a short amount of time. Now, cooking at home is great. Like, I love cooking at home. But what if I'm someone who either just doesn't have a lot of time to cook, or maybe I just don't want to cook because I just don't want to cook? If I'm eating out, if I'm getting my food through a drive-through or going to a sit-down restaurant, what are some things that I should be looking for when it comes to healthy eating? What choices should I make?
Well, I always say that there is a healthy choice everywhere you go, right? So if we're talking like drive-through, right? Nowadays, there's typically a grilled option at most restaurants, drive-through restaurants. So just making, I would say just evaluate where you are. So like if you're usually going and getting just like a general meal, whether that's like a fried chicken sandwich or a burger with French fries and a soda, right? We'll start on that end of the spectrum. What is one thing that you can do better? Maybe it's switching your fried chicken sandwich to a grilled option. Maybe it's getting either like a baked potato or fruit slices instead of the French fries. Or maybe it's switching from that soda to a bottle of water. Or, you know, if you're carrying your own bottle of water, not getting the complete meal so you're not tempted for that sugary drink. So there are just a lot of, I like to work in baby steps and not kind of going full force and changing things 100%, but to gradually get there. So those would be little changes I would make at the drive-through as well. But nowadays, I mean, I think that most restaurants do have those healthier options. It's just a matter of making that choice. And so sometimes that's taking an extra 10 seconds before you get there and deciding, hey, when I go through this drive-through, I'm going to get a salad, rather than waiting until you see all the other tasty items on the menu.
All right. That makes perfect sense to me.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and plate. So what I just did was squeeze some lemon on our asparagus. I've got my rice on the plate. I'm going to put my piece of salmon. I'm going to scoop up my nice avocado salsa. Oops. Go very well. I'm going to put that on top.
How beautiful is that? I'm telling you, you can never go wrong with a little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, I think it looks good and it also tastes good. Let me bring my plate with me, and then we'll add some asparagus spears.
Raquel says it looks yummy, and I agree with her 100%.
Well, yes, I think, like I said, that was pretty quick. We haven't utilized our entire hour at all. So that's something that you can come home, make pretty quick. Like you said, it tastes good, it looks good, and what it has is all the components that you would want for a well-balanced meal. So you've got your vegetable, obviously. With the asparagus, you have your grain with the rice, and that's like your main carbohydrate source. You have some healthy fats with the avocado on the top, and then obviously your lean protein with the salmon.
That's amazing. That looks so beautiful. I do have a question though for you. You just mentioned that you have we have a balanced diet here with what's on that plate. Sure. So if I'm someone who's eating a balanced diet, I'm getting in my protein, my carbs, all of those things that my body needs. Do I need to take a vitamin supplement? Are they useful, or what's the scoop on those?
So again, that's definitely an individual. It's an answer for an individual person, right? Everybody, there's no like one answer across the board for that. But yes, I would say that if you are somebody who is not a picky eater and you're eating balanced meals, you're definitely getting enough meals throughout the day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe a few snacks with a variety of food, then you should be able to get most of the nutrients that you need from food itself. But that's hard to say because everybody metabolizes food a little bit differently. And, so for example, you can have person A who's eating a really healthy diet, but for some reason their body doesn't metabolize certain nutrients. And so for them, maybe a multivitamin would still be beneficial. So again, it's like hard to give that answer, but I definitely, before supplements, I'm definitely like a food first type dietitian to make sure that you're making sure that you're getting everything in through food. And then a supplement, again, by its name, should supplement that and not replace it.
Okay. Yeah, I really like what you just said. It should supplement that and not replace it. Yes, that's a good thing to remember. Just looking over at some of these comments again, Raquel says this is the perfect summer dish, healthy and filling. Kathy Warren says she will definitely make your avocado salsa the next time she cooks salmon. And Deborah Deering says healthy eating and it looks delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Kayla, I have one more question for you because I'm sure you probably want to get to eating that delicious looking meal. So, what is the most important point to remember when it comes to nutrition? If you could only say one thing about nutrition, what do you want us to get?
Good question. So I guess I would say that the most important thing to remember about nutrition is that every day you have an opportunity to make a choice that's going to benefit your nutrition or get you closer to the healthy lifestyle that you're looking for. So I think to not dwell on the past and just know that each decision that you make, like every day we make a decision for sleep, for hydration, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So all those decisions are opportunities to improve your nutrition. So I think that's a good way to look at it.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kayla. I appreciate your time and your expertise in that delicious looking meal that you made. So thank you so very, very much. And I'm sure our audience appreciates it as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I had fun.
Yes. So thank you all for watching tonight. We would encourage you to share this video once again with your friends. If you know someone who could make it tonight, but you think they would love to see this, feel free to like and share this video. This will be posted on our social media, so you'll be able to watch the replay. And we would also like to encourage you to either join the organ donor registry by going to golm.org and adding your name to the Michigan State Organ Donor Registry, or to learn more about organ donation in general, you can always check out our website, golm.org, and see what other cool things we're going to be doing. There are going to be more conversations like the one Kayla and I just had tonight. They'll always be posted on our social media, and you can learn some cool things. So once again, for our watching audience, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And Kayla, once again, thank you so very much. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.